How y'all doing? Let's get a round of applause for all the organizers. Y'all gotta give a louder round of applause for organizers than that. Organizers are like the cooks of the movement. If they're not here, we don't eat. Let it be known that I am a Mesoamerican Mexican. Born in 1975 to be part of the hip-hop generation, predestined to be malnourished in the 80s because President Reagan thought ketchup was a vegetable. Just so he wouldn't have to buy my brother's school lunch program green beans. We learned to survive off music. We stood in line for CDs like it was government cheese, and instead of black beans and collard greens, we ate MCs for lunch. As such, our resistance deaths was labeled revolutionary like Public Enemy, number one of those children of the sun. Our Native American drum is the root of this history called hip-hop. Root is in before our rhymes in line with the divine design. We survived the vanilla ice age. What's crucified on death row records? Only to be reborn at a Jurassic 5 age. And though it's yably that we and Chuck D are what's wrong with the world today, those who won't sit down, shut up, conform. But we were not born to conform. We were born to grow, create, rebel, grow, create, rebel. We were born in hell and died twice for facade in the hood is proof of the afterlife. Life after death, life called breath. We are beyond Christ. We don't break bread, we break dance and break beats to feed the masses. Masses meaning people like the Black Panthers, for the people like the word Mexica, the people like Mos Def. My people, I am Mark Gonzales representing my people. My people. My people. Without hesitance, the question is at the end of the life, who the fuck will you represent? Because in 1975, this Mexican was born in Alaska. Land of the midnight sun. And by the age of 1, forget trying to crawl. I wanted to walk, learn to talk in my own language, even though you can understand me about 2. I thought I was so cool because I wasn't wearing diapers. Now I put on Fruit of the Looms. Cartoon characters with Dr. Doom and Spider-Man on. By 3, Michael Jackson helped me learn my ABC. And by 4, it was how to read with Curious George. And at 5, I began kindergarten. And at 6, I began kindergarten for the 2nd time because the teacher flunked me for not coloring inside the lines. But hey, I'm Mexican. I don't care if they're Crayolas. She should have known how I feel about borders. I was made, born and raised in America. Back for crack had flooded enslaved America. Back for blacks was stolen and named America. For Cali was claimed, named and maimed America. Made, born and raised in America with a skin-like shirt. Inside out, but the label is outside in. So all you see is brown skin boy with light-colored eyes flashing brown pride signs rambling on how Cali is still Mexico. While passersby scream at me from the street, go back to where you came from. You know, they must not have read my label. The one that says made in America. Born and raised in America, yet constantly asked, where did you learn to speak English? So, well, I was born here. Therefore, to eye me by an accent is just roots an accident, because 2nd generation American ain't that fluent in Spanish. 1975. Thought it was a good year to be alive. Instead, I was torn from my mother's wombs like Mexicans in Cali from their motherland, except I don't have a green card. I have a social security card with 9 numbers that plagued me like Holocaust survivors, although it did prevent my dad from being deported in an airport when they tried to arrest him on suspicion of selling narcotics, because any Mexican who dresses nice and carries a briefcase must sell drugs. Never mind that he's a U.S. government employee born in Wyoming in 1936. His mother was part Native American, so she was here before Columbus set sail. While swords set sail for Cinco de Mayo and corrupt Corona images on billboards, and Taco Bell says make a run for the border, but we didn't cross the borders. Borders crossed us, or rather them, because the fact is, once again, I am a citizen of this consumer capital you call America. Made, born and raised in America. Let me give you a real simple explanation for immigration. It begins when the U.S. Army ensures the protection of foreign investments by overthrowing leaders and instilling puppet governments, killing the local economy, driving the peso into poverty, forcing our people to stay and starve or leave the country for better opportunities. Right now, this second, there are human beings being shot down at the border, being devoured by coyotes, and it takes Subcomandante Marcos to speak and remind us we are not rebels. We are not revolutionaries. We are human beings who will no longer be denied our humanity. But then congressmen sport in overseas suits and say, Mexicans are taking jobs for Americans. We should go back to the good old days like English only or Jim Crow and see the return of the Dred Scott decision, or Plessy versus Ferguson, forgetting America itself is immigrant. We ride metros influenced by railroads built by Asians, live in mansions resembling plantations that were used to enslave blacks, but back then they liked to call them Negroes, and their miscegenation with my people resulted in mestizos like my grandfather, who worked the coal mines in New Mexico, the salt mines of Arizona, bloods in the fields of Colorado, Washington, and died like those picking grapes in California. He could have been one of those custodians in Pasadena, you know, working for bread and roses, or standing on a curbside selling oranges, California, where East Side nannies work for West Side mommies, where even the legal immigrants are treated like second-class citizens. It's either that or go to New York, where you can be sodomized by the cops and live, or shot at 41 times and die, while the NYPD takes lessons from the INS, and the IRS takes taxes from even the legal immigrants' paychecks, then denies them education. They're scared because soon our people will be 50% of the population of this nation. Born and raised in America, taking over America. Hell, if you don't know by now, we weren't made in America. We made America. So, my name is Mark Gonzales, and I'm really grateful to now be a Washington resident after living in Cali for the last 10 years. My family grew up in Wapato in the Yakima Indian Reservation in the late 30s and early 40s, when it used to all be Japanese and Pinoy owning and running the farms. And then this thing happened called forced detention centers, aka internment camps, and they locked up all the Japanese in Pinoy, and they needed new labor. So our family came from Wyoming along with other people from Mexico in the Bracero program over to Wapato and Yakima, and we later lost two of my aunts from cancer from the pesticides they used to spray on them growing up. And it makes me think around just these ideas of how much we use numbers and these realities of how many people are undocumented, how many people are in political amnesty process, how many people are asking for legal representation, and we lose sight that every 12 million, 15 million people are comprised of 15 million individuals who all have a family and brothers and sisters, and have to go to cemeteries and arrive at prisons and cry. And for those of us who have ever loved anyone, we know how painful it is to see our loved ones cry. And we work our best, whether it's trying to get jobs to put roofs over our head or feed our families. That it's really interesting that it seems that there's a mass of people who are just out to make our families cry. And we must realize that that's really what it comes down about, is our right to our children's laughter and a right not to be stolen in the middle of the night. I always say that it's kind of interesting that we all need food to eat, right? Like, I like to eat. I know everybody here like to eat, I think. I don't know, some of y'all, maybe y'all don't like food. I like food. But it's really crazy because it's like food is the most basic nourishment of our life. If we don't have food, we die. And it's all people working the fields and picking that food and putting it on your plate. So it's like, if you trust us enough to put the food you need for life on your plate, how can you not trust us with papers? It's a really just crazy world we live in, that when you think of things like that, you're like, wow. And I do want to say, I just want to do one last track on my family here real quick, is that to me this is not an issue of immigration and deportation. This is an issue of indigenous rights and displacement. Why are we being forced out of our countries that many of us have been in for years? Whether it's the Philippines, whether it's Somalia, whether it's Ethiopia, whether it's El Salvador, whether it's Mexico. And what is this country's role in creating the turmoil and civil unrest in those countries that forces our people to leave to just try to find a place to eat and feed our families so we don't have to cry? You know, never let them tell you this is about deportation. This is about displacement. We are indigenous people, globally. Either way, we're just going to tell a story. Hopefully they'll get some volume on it. We were born stars but crashed. Now rhyme in bars 16. At night, grown men go to clubs and pick up on those barely 16. You know what? We'll do it without.
Yes.
You know we do it with the streets when you just do it with technical difficulties. We were born stars but crashed. Now rhyme in bar 16. At night, grown men go to club and pick up on those barely 16. Underage men behind bars do bigs in 16. Sisters think sweet 16 ain't so sweet, so rush to grow older a year earlier. Quinceañera, one of the 5, decade plus half. My grandfather lost his brother building the railroad tracks. My cousin's arm bears witness with the traces of tracks. This is why I write tracks. I see the need for alternatives. We be the new MCs, those who respect ancestors and producers. My family worked the fields. We lost 2 aunts to pesticides. They died from cancer. No answer from God. Systems left, right, religious. Keep your definitions. My father is not mechanic. He is not oppressed. He is my father. Sorry, I get ADD, audio deficit disorder. That was off track. Back to our original train of thought. My Tio was a Gandhi dancer, Mexican singing as he was slamming sledgehammer against railroad ties. We tied our lives to those tracks. We died to those tracks. Those tracks is where children beat each other to death in the back with railroad ties in the shy. Radio tracks lie, we lay gente. What the buck happened to us? Wrapped in the clack of the Gap backseat of the black and white backs. Bruised blue eyes, bloodshot red, give me the green. Money, honey, what is the color of your truth? Indigo. We have indigenous names in indigo generation. Reclaim, rename, retain reality. We are bronze skin, obsidian beautiful people, and I know it's hard out here. But mother hater, our ancestors built temples that raised the sun. Don't tell me we can't raise our children. Your visions are playing hide and seek with secrets beneath ocean floor. Tomorrow is like land underneath Los Angeles faulty. Love yourself enough to carve a new philosophy. Prophecy. Those who were discovered will discover the next new world and build it audibly. We will name it the new word. Columbus will be censored, as will all those who stole our stories. We will learn to sit in silence and listen. Just listen. Because we were born stars but crashed. It is no wonder we do not do well with systems of oppression or gravity. We were never designed to be held down in the first place.